What is going on, everybody? It is Craig, and I am here to do another Maxxxine review. You might be like, wait a second, I saw your other one up. What's going on? Maxxxine just came out. I didn't want to do anything with spoiler in my original review, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about. So here's the one with all the spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie yet and you're planning on it, then move away. If you have watched it, then let's talk about it. Well, first and foremost, big fan of Ty West. I discussed that in my last video. I think might be my favorite. He is my favorite horror writer director. Period. Right now, there's a couple people are close. You'd probably guess him, and probably next to Kevin Smith in general, writing and directing. I think he's probably my favorite Ty West, aside from Kevin Smith. But this movie, I love his sensibilities with how he shoots things. Like the movie, it opens up seeing some old-timey footage of Maxxxine when she was young and talking to an adult, like who looked like probably was a father from what it was saying. Like he worked in the church. Like, and we got that idea before. We knew in X that her father was puritanical, like very puritanical, and sort of, her porn star life was not something he was a fan of or would have been a fan of. So, and then they switched right to her in the porn star life, and then she also had an interview for a movie that was not porn that she killed the audition on, The Puritan 2. And from that point on, then we started really delving into the movie. Like she's telling people she's got a movie, she's going to be a star. She asks her one friend about people who, celebrities who got their star in horror movies, and he starts naming a few. And he names one who I always overlook, but it is true, Alice Sweet Brooke Shields, and then Alice Sweet Alice, and they even say yeah, but Brooke Shields never did porn. I'm like, yeah, but she got naked, and Brooke Shields, well, she was very highly exploited as a child, in a movie that I hope you can't find on video anymore. I wouldn't even leave the name of it, but anyway. But that said, so that was interesting. But then it started to roll. Then you start to get the tension set up. Somebody knows what happened in Texas. Kevin Bacon is the PI who's charged with finding her, and then he finds her, and he gives her sort of information. She's got to meet this guy, otherwise she's going to expose everything, and she'll never work in the town again, yada yada. But here's what I like about this Maxxxine character. She doesn't panic, she doesn't get scared, and you saw that even early on in the movie, where she was walking down an alleyway, and you saw someone following her, and it was gated in, and like he kept getting closer, like he had a knife. She turned around, he's all scared, and then she pointed a gun at him. He's like, oh fuck. And then legitimately, one of the more intense, graphic things I've seen on the film, just because of the guy, it made me go, oh. She had him strip. She had him suck on the barrel of the gun, essentially her humiliating him. Then she had him lay on the ground, and she said, you know what I did to the last person who tried to kill me? I smashed their head in. And then she stomped on his testicles. And they showed that, and it was, yeah. But, you never heard anything about it again after that, but that was really good to me. That was, wow, okay, this girl takes care of herself. And then even the Kevin Bacon stuff. Like, she realized she was set up with Kevin Bacon. She went up to him in the car as he's filming her. Just consider me your paparazzi. And he had a weird accent. That's why I did that. And she had the keys in her hand, and she just beat the shit out of him. He dropped his camera. And then from that point, he's like, that's it. Now you're going to get it. And Kevin Bacon deserved what he got in the movie because he knew that the person he was working for was killing people, so don't shed a tear. But they did the great run-through when they were running through the area, the park they were in, the studio, and she hid in the psycho house. Like, that was a very nice homage when they're talking about the old woman hiding as a killer, like, back to Pearl, back to X. I thought that was, well, back to X, I guess, in that case. I thought it was great. But then she went to her agent, and she told her agent what was going on. She's like, you're my lawyer too, right? She told him everything. And then they got Kevin Bacon. Oh my, did they get Kevin Bacon good. And the best part is, once they had him trapped, they had him handcuffed in a car, like, he's begging for his life. There is no, I'll tell you everything, I'll tell you. Nope, they just killed him. Smash, bloody pieces everywhere. Dogs came, cleaned it up. Lots of fun. Then we do see something unexpected in her, because she has a flashback to the one girl, who's saying she's going to this party and she knows this party's connected, this house is connected. She knows who the murderer is. She knows he's there. She knows something's happening there. So all of a sudden, she's like, we girls gotta protect each other, don't we? Like, she had a replay of what the one cop told her. And so then she drives to the house, although the cops follow her there. She goes in the house. And here's the one thing I didn't love about the movie, but I get it. Like, the killer was her father. So it was one of those cases, sort of like Marsha Gay Harden's character, where the religious zealot, just Marsha Gay Harden's character in Mist, where the religious zealot really just goes too far. So because the girls are doing porn and this or that, their soul, they must be purified, and we'll put the mark of the devil on them so they'll be recognized. By the way, I will say this, all the stuff with Richard Ramirez, like that they did in the preview, that was a super misdirect, which I get it. It's the 80s, Richard Ramirez, that's when he was doing his shit, but I don't think the movie needed that at all. Like, now that that is my negative to this film. And that's why I still can't decide. Even though I gave it a 7 out of 10, I can't give it higher than that because of that reason. Like, they could have just went different. Or I would have been happy if they went with Richard Ramirez and you didn't see the father. Or maybe the father was somehow connected to Ramirez. Like, not what it was. But I will say, the father, she did allow the father to get the jump on her, and he put a plastic bag over her head and he started choking her out with it. And eventually she passed out, and he tied her up against a post, and then he was going to perform the ritual on her. Cops came, tried to save her. They killed a bunch of the other people who were around. He got away. One cop got killed. The other cop shot him, but she got stabbed in the throat with a cloth, so I don't know if she lived or not. Well, stabbed in the eye. I don't know if she lived or not. But they just showed her body rolling down the hill, so probably not. But then she went by the body, and the people in the helicopter see her with the gun, and you're thinking, oh, are they going to think she did this? The cops are dead. It's going to be one of those. And that would have been very unsettling. I would have liked that. But instead, next scene, you see it flash to, she went through this harrowing experience, and, she's famous, and she's talking about what she experienced, and then she sold the rights to life, and obviously she's on the Puritan 2. She's killing it. But they do something. They do a flashback that shows her holding the gun, and she winds up blowing her father's head off, who's lying on the ground. And the cops in the helicopter, and they see this. I know world was different in the 80s. It was. But how does all of a sudden it's like, oh, self-defense, it was fine. I guess maybe it's a case too, their own were killed, they're like, good for you, get that dick. Who knows? But that was strange. I will say, another thing I didn't like about the movie was one of their biggest devices to show you it was the 80s was cocaine. Like, there was lots of cocaine usage. There was a duct just filled with cocaine, sort of like there'd be a candy ball at your grandma's house. So it was very, very, very coke heavy. There was also a scene that was very Boogie Nights reminiscent, where she looks in the mirror talking about she's a star. Now she ain't got a fake phallus or anything like that, but you had that in there. I will say the very end, and I keep saying I will say. I do that. I gotta stop that. The very end, the shot was excellent to me because it flashed back, or it called back to something earlier where she had to get a face mask made, because there's gonna be a final scene where she's a severed head, and they showed the severed head on the bed while she's sitting there with the director. They're looking at it. Scene looks great, etc. And then they're playing, and then the song "Betty Davis Eyes" is playing over it. I think it's such a great juxtaposition, like showing sort of what's become now of her, essentially her soul, her life, and all that. But so you have this beautiful song with this severed head, sort of showing what's going to happen next for her. I have heard him talk about there being a fourth movie. I don't think originally it was planned, but there's definitely plenty of room for it, considering nothing happened to her. I don't know how it would work, but who knows? Who knows? It might be interesting. I'm always going to give Ty West a chance. But again, folks, this was a lot longer than my normal reviews because I was spoiling stuff. I did do the number in the last one. You heard me say it again today, 7 out of 10. I don't know. If you haven't seen these movies, well, then why were you listening to this review? But if you have seen all three, do you agree with my takes on them? Do you disagree? Let me know, folks. Till we meet again. Peace.